Hello. So this is Zaximus again. So there's been a lot of, I guess, conversation about the desert biome in Ashes of Creation. So I kind of want to quickly touch on the things that I've seen that I either didn't really like or I thought was kind of weird or buggy, and then I kind of wanted to talk about the things that I think are really great within the desert biome. So I'm currently in the desert biome right now. I've explored most of these areas, just kind of roaming around, dodging high level enemies and stuff. But first and foremost, something I thought was really cool is in the game, these rivers actually have a current. So if you look at my character here, and I'll just stop it right here, I'm just moving backwards with the current, which I think is pretty crazy. The downside, however, something I've noticed along this entire river, because I've been kind of running around on it, is there's very little greenery near the river itself. And what I don't like either is that it's constantly rendering in as I get close to it, right? So you can kind of see bits of it here, and then as you get close, it starts to actually render in to focus and pop up on the screen, right? And you can see as I'm moving around, it does the same thing. The other thing too is the further down the river you go, closer toward this direction, on both sides of the river, it's completely bare. And I think that's mainly just because they haven't fully implemented everything yet, because if you kind of look here, there's greenery, and they have kind of the same texture on that side of the river as well, and I'm guessing they're adding more greenery. Something I would like to see though is I would like it if this river either could have periods of huge growth and periods of lack of growth, right? So I'm thinking back to times of ancient Mesopotamia, Sumeria, or thinking about between the Tigris and the Euphrates River, right? And how their flooding, while chaotic and not really planned, would cause a lot of foliage change around the river itself. And then even in the Nile, right? The Nile was more predictable flooding, but that is how essentially they would have a lot of their agriculture done, is through those rivers flooding. So just something I thought would be sick. One of the things that Narc said in his video is that they kind of copy and pasted these towns on top of these areas, and I will admit that is kind of what it looks like they did. However, I mean, I can get maybe because it's supposed to be one whole map area right here, and there's multiple other areas that are supposed to be all over the place, right? But as far as this area itself, so I mean, I can kind of understand why these would be the same. However, I would prefer if this one makes sense, because you still have your trees and stuff like that, but there's this area down here which I really don't like that they kind of use the same structure. I was thinking they could have used sandstone or brick or something like that. Something like sandstone bricks would make a lot more sense in that area, because all it is desert sand. If they're building these huge settlements like this, they're going to have to be tracking in wood from large, across large areas just to build that town up. So just some realism things, I guess. As far as the creatures, I think that they're all pretty interesting. I noticed there's a lot of just reused scorpions and minotaurs, which I would like to see them add even more. Outside of that, of course, you have your little grims here everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I really don't think the desert's all that bad. And there's actually, if you look at their showcase, and then you go to this area over here, this area over here is very similar to what they showcased. Same with these areas, right? So a lot of, or yeah, more so over here. I'm not sure actually. I don't think I've gone to this area, but these areas right here are very similar to what they showcased. And I'm actually going to continue swimming up the river and try and check out the rest of these spots over here, just kind of see what it looks like. But yeah, I mean, those are just kind of my opinions that I've seen. I've been submitting a lot of bugs. There's some areas within the desert that, especially areas that are kind of out of the way, that you can kind of clip into the terrain, and so you can't move at all. But I'm sure those are all things that the more bugs get submitted, the better it'll be. I think the issue with, I guess, like Narc's video is I did see the area he's talking about, right? Like the desert he's speaking of is down this, it's like over here is where he's talking about in his video. Somewhere along this area, I'm assuming. And yeah, it's like a vast empty desert, but I think that's what it's meant to be. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could have like small oases or something, but like I don't think this area is meant to have an oasis. I think this area is literally meant to just be a desert. Maybe if you go up to this area, which I didn't check out this spot, but I'm guessing that little water area might have, you know, some foliage and stuff like that if you go over there, and that would make sense. But for this area where it's literally nothing but sand, like, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna see a whole lot over there. I don't know. It's still a lot of work to be done, and I don't know. I think ultimately they'll be able to polish it. Let me see if I don't know if I have my settings on the highest. Let's see. Let's see, video. Yeah, I have my settings on the lowest. Let's change it all the way up to see. See what happens. Hopefully it doesn't destroy my computer, but let's change it to ultra and see what everything looks like on ultra. Hopefully I don't get disconnected. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, is it done freaking out on me? Oh, I don't think it is. I think I'm gonna get disconnected. Oh, nope. I think we're good. Oh wow. This is a lot more crisp at least. And this, whoa, that's actually pretty sick. I love that. The water is actually waking with you as you're swimming. That is pretty sick. Oh yeah, well, the graphics are actually gorgeous if you look at it. And I mean, yeah, I mean, they're doing an amazing job at it. I think there's obviously some things that should be worked out, but yeah, I mean, it looks pretty great. I mean, just alone, these water movements are pretty sick. It kind of reminds me how cool the water movements are in what's that pirate game that I used to play? Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I mean, like, the water itself is gorgeous. But just need a non-shitty computer, I guess, and not fry. But yeah, that'll be the end of this video. Just wanted to give my 2 cents on the situation that was ongoing.